Now I want to get to the top 10 because the top 10 looks so different now, doesn't it? I mean, the top 10 is, to be honest, this is like one of my favorite things to do now is try to put together a top 10 because they're all good. Normally you have like, oh, these two are really good. And then, oh, these, six are not. But that's not how I feel. So now let's get to this top 10. Obviously, some teams are going to fall out, and this is going to look very different. Now, on X, I did throw out who my top 3 are going to be. You don't know which order yet, so that's coming up. Let's go 10-1. My new top 10 in college football. Here we go. At number 10, even though they lost at home, I still have Georgia. Georgia's still tough to beat, and they had great opportunities in that game to win the game. They had the opportunity to kick the field goal. They chose not to. Again, I don't mind not kicking the field goal. The problem is the play call. The play call on 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter was borderline egregious, to be honest with you. With the way that they dominated on the ground, to not dominate that way at that moment is something that they're going to want back. They had the big drop down the middle of the field, and they lose the game. And credit to Alabama, and we'll see Alabama in these rankings right here. But Georgia stays in there at 10th. That's still a very good football team, and it's still going to be very difficult to beat them. At number 9, another team that lost at home, Penn State. I've got Penn State at 9. Now listen, double overtime thriller against a really good football team, and we might have seen them figure some things out late in that game. You see, I think Penn State, as I was talking about earlier, I think Penn State is going to need to grow from this game. Obviously, they need to find a way to get their offense better moving forward, and specifically in these top 10 matchups like they had on Saturday night against Oregon. Okay, how do you do that? Well, you evaluate with clear eyes and you say, what is it that we are not doing? And right now, what I don't think is happening is a great marriage between the skill set of Drew Aller and the offense of Andy Kotelnicki. And somehow that's going to have to marry up a lot better. I think they need to build the system around what Drew does best. Their best series was when they were putting him back there in big, heavy play action and letting him rip it down the field. Where he struggles at times is when he's in the short area, quick game, RPO, run pass option game, because he doesn't have the requisite, I would say, foot speed or hand speed. Not a knock, because he can throw it as well as anybody, but he's not really a point guard style. So again, build an offense suited to him rather than trying to get him suited to your offense. I think that would be the way forward for Penn State. Number 8, Alabama. That's a huge win. I know they lost to Florida State earlier, but all of us that watched that game on Saturday night know that that team looks drastically different. Drastically different. The effort was different. The physicality was different. The game plan was different. I loved all of it. Ty Simpson continues to be elite at quarterback. What they did to start that game, I think it was 8 for their first 8 on third down, which was remarkable. I believe it was 9 of 11 or 9 of 12 at one point early in the third quarter. Their level of execution was fantastic. Now, granted, they had to hang on in the end and didn't really run it that great, but it's there. The top end is there. If they play disciplined and they protect Ty Simpson, that is going to be a very difficult team to beat. So Alabama is going to be at number 8. 7 is Indiana. Indiana went out on the road and beat Iowa. Iowa is where top 10 teams go to die, and they were able to beat the Iowa Hawkeyes in a gritty style game. So now we've seen them win both ways. We've seen them win with just absolute, shock and awe against Illinois, and now we see them win kind of a grinded out game against Iowa, in which Iowa had a quarterback injury to Gronowski, and they missed a field goal late, but there's Indiana, huge play late in that game, little RPO, bam, they get a blitz from Iowa, hit it, and I believe it was Surratt runs into the end zone. Yes, it is Surratt. He's on YouTube right now if you're watching that. Beautiful job, Mendoza. And that Indiana team, is now 16-2 over their last 2 seasons. They are for real. They're only 2 losses since the beginning of last year at Ohio State, at Notre Dame. Those 2 teams played for the national championship a year ago. So Indiana is in there at 7. At 6, and this is where I have to eat a bunch of crow. So all of you Ole Miss fans, I'm going to give a big tip of the cap and say, no. It was not Ole Miss that was overrated. It was LSU that was overrated. And it was Ole Miss that was maybe underrated because that's a good football team. I didn't love the way that they played against Kentucky and Arkansas. So I didn't know what I was going to get. But this version with Lane Kiffin and Chambliss is really good. This is a great story. Division II transfer from Ferris State. And he comes in there. He's won Division II national championships. And now Lane is building a system around Chambliss. And Chambliss, because he's got this dual threat and he can hurt you with his legs and his arm, man, he's dangerous. And this offense becomes dangerous. And then the defense played really well. Now, granted, I will say this. I have no idea what's going on with LSU's offense. That team is not very good. And maybe the fly in the ointment game in all of college football was the opener between LSU and Clemson. Because maybe, just maybe, both of those teams are just like not great. And that's fine. That's fine. But at the time, we thought they were both elite. And now that's shaped the way that we have looked at and viewed the first month of the college football season. And now we're starting to see that maybe that game was a bit of smoke and mirrors. And this LSU loss to Ole Miss might be part of that. By the way, Ole Miss nearly doubled them up in yards, not as close as the score would indicate. Ole Miss really handled that game. Thus, they're number 6. All right, at number 5, I'm going to go Texas. This is a little higher than most people, but here's the thing with Texas. Defense wins, and folks, that's a great defense. And so, to me, Arch is going to be allowed time to develop. He's getting that. He played much better against Sam Houston. Now, he's going to get much stiffer tests. OU's defense is a lot better than Sam Houston, but Texas's defense is never going to let a game get away. And so I don't think Arch is going to have to put a cape on his back anytime soon. Heck, he didn't even need really a cape on his back to get them back in that Ohio State game because the defense is very good. So that's why I love Texas. They have answers. And if Arch just gets a little better, then watch out. Watch out, because that'll be a tough team to beat. And number 4, I'm kind of in on this team. I really am. I talked about this idea that you have to be able to have balance in the way that you win to be a great college football team. What is your answer if someone takes something away from you? Can you win a low-scoring game? Can you win a high-scoring game? So my number 4 team is going to be Texas A&M. I really was impressed with Texas A&M. Now, the score didn't help me because I lost by the hook. I gave you guys my pick last week that Texas A&M was going to win by over 6.5. And they didn't. But on paper, they dominated the game. The only reason that we lost that bet, if you want to call it that, was the fact that the turnover wound up on the 2-yard line for Auburn. That's the only way that they scored. A&M was elite defensively after going up to South Bend and having to be elite offensively. So to me, what does that say? Answers. Answers, man. Competitive balance. Here we go. They held Auburn to 177 yards. Auburn was 0 of 13 on third down. So now in back-to-back weeks, Auburn has given up 10 sacks to OU and then gone down to College Station and gone 0 for 13 on third down. Yikes. Hey, Auburn Tigers, yikes. But for me, I kind of like what I'm seeing from A&M. And now you start to see, it's like I've got all these teams from the SEC in my top 10. What have I got? 5 of them? So I got what? A&M, Texas, SU, Ole Miss. Then I got to Alabama and Georgia. So that's 5. Half of my top 10 is the SEC here. And any given day, I think any one of those teams could beat any other team. So that's like, this is going to be an incredible race coming down the stretch in the SEC. All right, at number 3, Miami. I still am a big fan of Miami. Ruben Bain, more specifically. I think that Miami is going to be tough to beat because their offensive line is solid, which travels. Their defense is solid, which travels. Bain is a game record, and they've got a good quality quarterback. So Miami is going to be number 3, and that leaves the top 2 teams in the country. I was tempted to throw Oregon all the way up at number 1 after that incredible emotional win Saturday night, but they're going to be number 2, and Ohio State is going to be number 1. So Oregon is going to be number 2. I talked about them at length. I'm so impressed with them. Early in this year, I said that this is a team that could go and win the national championship. Still believe that. I believe their quarterback is going to be right now and should be on the short list, probably 1, 2, or 3 in the Heisman Trophy race. He should wind up in New York. There's no doubt. I was thoroughly impressed with Dante Moore. I love what they do on defense. They were able to stop, for the most part, the downhill running attack from Penn State, which was the concern coming into that game. They've got skill and speed on the outside. They've got a great coach. I'm in. I'm in. Oregon is number 2 and number 1 is Ohio State. Why is it that the fastest runner looks like they're running the easiest at times? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever watched like sprinting? Have you ever turned on, like Usain Bolt is like running and he's beating everybody, and you're like, why does Usain Bolt look like he's running easier than everybody else? And it's like, oh yeah, well because he's just faster. And you're like, oh. And everyone else, you can be like, they're like straining to run that fast. That's how I feel about Ohio State right now. They don't look like they're running the fastest, but they are. They are. And that's why they're the number 1 team. I don't think that I've even seen like 4th gear from Ohio State, at least offensively. I've seen what they can bring to the party on defense. Oh, buddy, that defense is good, to say the least. They're fast. They're long. The defensive line was terrific against Washington. They gave up 2 field goals to the number 2 scoring offense in all of America. Damon Williams is one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the land, one of the quickest, one of the fastest, and this team swallowed him up. Caden Curry was terrific. These linebackers are incredible. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, they've got good corners. Like, they're really tough, man. Again, that defense is the best defense in America right now. It just is. They were just going to sit there and spy Damon Williams because they're faster than him. That's difficult, and they can cover. They still have Downs as a safety. And then this offense, it's just like, have they hit 4th gear yet? Have they even given you like what they really wanted? That was a 6-possession game. 6. They got 6 offensive possessions. Never in doubt. Now, you could say maybe it was in doubt. You're like, well, it's 3-0, Joel, at one point late in the second quarter. It was like, yeah, but, was it in doubt? When you're like watching the game, was it in doubt? All due respect to Jed Fish in Washington, it was not in doubt for me. Ohio State goes down. They get stopped on 4th down, and it's like, okay, they're going to go right back down the field as well. They can run it. Sayin is as accurate as anybody in the country, and I don't think we've even like seen it yet. Have we seen the full Monty from Ohio State? Probably not. It's like, let's get to Smith a few times here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, okay. Carnell Tate, bam. Ennis, bam. Bo Jackson, bam. CJ Donaldson, bam. It's like, oh my goodness. They've got players everywhere. Oh, it's 3rd down. Hey, Max Clare, bam. So, let's watch out. Let's watch out for Ohio State. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. And you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.